the Akali, the LeBlanc as well, and the Renekton tried and true comes in for LGD as first pick.
Yeah, obviously does appear as a flex, but probably expect this one to go up in the top lane. On the other side, looks like Suning just gonna answer with a Sett, and again, another pick that they can move between their two lanes, offers some strong, reliable engage, and also does pretty okay into the Renekton. I feel like jungle probably gonna be a priority at this point, just to give a favorable matchup. Sett Rumble is a really strong combo, and also the fast clear speed off the Rumble obviously gives you a lot of strength, but it looks like SofM's going for the Diana as well. Still a lot of engage and teamfight potential, but potentially a bit of extra skirmish power before that level 6 point.
And I do feel like with Diana, you do get a little bit of a high risk, high reward there. You got to get the snowball rolling early, I feel like, on the Diana. Yes, you can have impact late game, but still important to get a little bit of gold in those pockets early on as the double lock-in comes through for LGD. Rumble Nocturne get locked in, and they have a pretty fearsome combination coming out already as Gwen actually has made it through the picks, or at least the first phase of bans. Could be a final pickup here for Suning. I would like to see this actually and keep the focus to that second phase for bottom lane, and it will be the Gwen locked in.
Yeah, I think it puts you in a more comfortable position because anything LGD bans away now, it potentially allows Suning to have priority on that pick, and it could actually put LGD in a difficult spot. Both teams really emphasizing that skirmish power on the top side. But really, I'm looking at LGD and I'm like, what AD carry is going to be in a position to survive this dive threat from the Nocturne Rumble? We see Varus banned away, which I think I definitely agree with. Being able to have that Chains of Corruption of follow-up is a big asset. And then LGD taking away the Thresh. We could even see a Tahm Kench ban out come up. Kench ban come as well. Just mitigating that safety for the backline that Huanfeng often needs to be able to flourish.
And I wonder how deep we do get into the support pools. We did say one of the big focuses, or at least what we're looking for to happen in this game, is the roaming of the supports. You typically want to have something that's going to be decent in lane, get the priority, and be able to get that roam off. It's going to be another support ban by Suning, or at least their first support ban, second of the game here. It's the Rakan that comes off the board.
Yeah, now LGD, I wouldn't be too surprised to see a Tahm ban come out here, but I feel like there's a lot of options in this situation. You could even potentially look at taking away an AD carry here. They actually end up going for the Karma. I guess it makes sense, but to be honest, I feel like on Karma, not the pick that I think he's necessarily had the best performances on, and also doesn't offer too much protection to the backline. But now Suning have choice. Essentially comes down to what they want to deliver. Typically, we'd expect to see an AD carry picked here, and then support to have the counter pick in lane, but they actually end up going towards that Tahm Kench. I think this is a pretty standout pick, and actually if they pick the Tahm, they have a lot of options for AD carry. Senna is available as something they can take. It gives you safety to your AD carry. There's a lot of options here, and now it's up to LGD to decide on what they want to take into this. Kai'Sa does make sense just in terms of the whole dive threat potential, but if you end up with Kai'Sa into the Senna Tahm, you're gonna have a bit of a rough laning phase.
I just gotta say, a little giddy in my heart. Oh, the combo. I was gonna say I'm a little giddy in my heart to get the final, the counter pick ADC here for your Suning, but then LGD just lock in the combo, the damage combo of the Ziggs with the Senna as well as their final two picks, and that's gonna be a fun one.
This is so smart actually, because typically when we see Senna, there's two options with it. You pick one of those melee champions that can help provide space and keep you safe. But here, you have the Ziggs, who's going to be able to farm from a distance and harass. And this is the problem with picking the Tahm Kench first for Suning. You open yourself up to these long-range harass bot lanes, which LGD have taken, and he's not going to be able to do too much in response. It's essentially going to be Huanfeng trading against both Kramer and Mark, and it's not going to be an easy experience. And then when we get to the later stages of the game, you picture the Nocturne diving in onto the backline. You're going to have the Rumble ult on top of that. You're going to have the Ziggs ult on top of that. You're going to have the Senna ult as well. All of these things are going to make it so difficult for Huanfeng to survive. And we praise this guy as consistent, but I don't care how consistent you are going to struggle even with the assistance of a Tahm Kench.
Bringing back some wonderful sunny memories of his Jhin play here today for game number 1 of this best of 3. Couldn't think of any other way that I'd want this to kick off. The ADCs are here ready to go. We got some scaling, we got some fighting, we got some skirmishing potential as well between these two junglers. And the mid lane, the heartbeat that we said for this matchup, is going to be on fire.
Absolutely, and it's gonna dictate the game, because I think one of the things you can do regarding this bot lane for LGD is you can look to gank it, you can look to punish it. Ziggs and Senna have tools to keep themselves safe, but they're both squishy, and it's not like a Senna Tahm. It's not like we have like a Ziggs Thresh or something. They don't have nearly as much safety as you'd expect from a fully defensive lane that we sometimes see with the Senna. There is vulnerabilities, and if we see some momentum able to be built up by Suning, they could potentially apply that pressure bot. So the step-by-step of it is you want to find mid priority. Either that's achieved naturally or that's achieved by pressure coming out from SofM. Then you want to see them lean down towards the bot side and potentially look to set up a gank there. It's going to be hard to make it a dive just because there's so much wave clear coming out from this Ziggs.
Yeah, it definitely is. And the tower taking is going to be pretty legit there for the Kramer Mark duo in the bot lane. But we are hitting the rift for the first time of this evening. This super weekend finishes tonight as we have Suning taking on LGD.
And I am so ready for this. I think watching what the junglers do, super important. Watching how the lanes play out. You know, I was talking about that mid lane priority. I feel like the Nocturne's going to have the advantage in that regard, just thanks to the amount of pushing power he gets from his passive and his Q. And that's really going to potentially dictate things. SofM could end up just leaning towards Bin in the top lane, because he often likes to do that, play around his top laner. But the problem is, if you leave this bot lane alone, I'm really favoring LGD. Anyone who didn't actually catch it, Ziggs recently got a buff. His Q got an extra 20 damage at max rank, which, considering how much he spams it, is really significant. And also his ult has a faster missile speed at medium to long ranges, so a lot easier to land, which is why you are seeing him return a little bit in the right situations.
Yeah, and that poking lane is definitely the right situation down there. I need to see what they can kind of grab for themselves there. I do want to highlight a little bit more of what we kind of wanted to approach this game as for both these teams, as Fearness is actually not having a lot of fun in the top lane against Ben. Almost goes down, does not even burn the flash, so calm, cool, and collected. But something I want to talk about here, and maybe things change up with the different kind of compositions that we've gotten, especially when you're looking at SofM on the Diana. But we were saying, you know, LGD trying to up the tempo, trying to get control of the early game, while Suning try to hold back typically, try to wait for that scaling advantage, try to wait till those team fights where they are consistent to a T. But this game has a little bit of a different style from Suning, and I really like to see that.
Yeah, I think there's more of an emphasis on them finding the early momentum, but I do think in the skirmishes they can absolutely still deliver, and I really think it comes down to Suning to finding access to this backline, because I think more than anything in this game, whoever engages first, whoever finds the squishier members is going to find the advantage. With speaking of finding members, Shadow looking for SofM.
Hey, I love it. We were talking about it before the game started. I was saying, yo, Shadow is just so instinctive when it comes to jungle pathing. He's so good at getting in your face, knowing where you're going to be, and he's showing that here again by stealing away the blue buff of SofM.
And it obviously reduces a bit of the effectiveness of the Diana having those mana issues, but I think it kind of shows a lot of the value on this Rumble, being able to clear quite quickly, a lot of effectiveness at that third level, and he's able to push in, take that Scuttle Crab, and actually, if you look at the fact he has pretty much complete mid priority, pretty much complete bot priority, he may end up feeling comfortable just to move up towards that top side and double Scuttle SofM, which would be a massive advantage.
You can see SofM is heading back out on the map like, I don't want this to happen, but might just have to let it happen, as Shadow does show up mid. Angel just take a nice little trade onto Xiye, but it will be just the double Scuttle given away by SofM. Doesn't want to contest for it, but is going to try to go for a bit of an invade for himself.
Yeah, and that's the thing. All SofM can do is invade here. His entire jungle is cleared. Shadow still has 3 camps to go through, so a lot of time. And really, SofM is going to be able to get those Raptors, so it's not completely doomed, but it would have been really dire if he was punished on this invade. It does mean, though, that Kramer and Mark need to be a little bit concerned. They're trading really well in this lane matchup. You can see Ong completely chunked out, but because there's now developed a map split, they have to be ready for a potential flank from this Diana. You've seen the Scrying Orb actually hit there by Xiye, trying to catch out the Diana here and force SofM away.
That's what you love to see, the synergy coming through, the team synergy rather, with Xiye being able to get that and, you know, just give SofM a second thought on if you wanted to continue that effort there. We'll stay to the bot side of the map, where we do see on the other side Shadow is responding with his own invade. So love to see the continuation of the jungles just trying to power clear, trying to get to that level 6 mark where really the effectiveness comes to light.
Oh, it looks like SofM has found the window though in the bot lane.
Yeah,
good move down there
going forward. Oh, Kramer's already dead before we even get down there pretty much, and Mark has to get away. SofM made a return. Top lane though, Bin is gonna be the response here. LGD firing across the map in response to Suiting's early blood.
And it's kind of the expected outcome when you see a map split like this. Shadow very easy can just move in top, and one of the things with this Gwen not taking flash is you're really strong at challenging the lane matchup with the ignite, but you're a lot more vulnerable to this gank pressure. And bot lane, we highlighted Kramer and Mark on these two picks don't have the same safety as like a Senna Tahm lane or a lane with like a Ziggs Thresh. They are vulnerable to ganks, and SofM was able to find the window to quite easily move in. And on top of that, yes, there was only one kill there, but he got all of the summoners across the board.
Yeah.
So return gank very realistic. And I have to say, LGD knew he was on the bot side. They saw him,
know,
and they
what I was
still
gonna
opted
say.
to push up.
A return gank of a return gank, and you fell for it. As we're gonna actually get to see that return gank. We're gonna see Kramer go down here for first blood.
It wasn't even close. Kramer was so low already on the outset. Over trading in that scenario, feeling a bit confident because of how the early laning phase had gone, and ends up getting caught out for it. But now Bin trapped under turret pretty much. We have the equalizer, the paranoia available.
Oh man, they were showing so early too. Ben's putting up his best effort, but it's not going to be for anything as Fearness is going to be donated the kill by his teammates. Kramer though in some trouble down here. Luckily he had the knock away there to get away from trouble, as we were saying it. But Suiting do get another kill given over to LGD because of their misgivings.
Yeah, and Bin starting to really struggle in this lane matchup. Pretty far behind in CS. We're seeing plates go over to Fearness. And this is one of the issues, is that Bin, I think, is really good in a team fight. Offers a lot when he's able to find that backline access, but potentially a vulnerability. Often targeted in the laning phase and ends up falling behind, and LGD have jumped right on that. And the thing is, the critical thing we highlighted was the mid lane matchup. And it is having an effect here. The priority of the Nocturne that he can achieve very easily has allowed Xiye just to move bot lane to scout out SofM. He moved with Shadow for the invades, and now he moved top with the paranoia. And this extra presence on the map is making a big difference in that Bin.
Oh no, Bin! Not again! The flash from Shadow, and that's gonna be another kill. That feels so darn bad. And for Fearness, previously known as Cole, to come in here, replacing Garvey and having some stunning performances for himself. Man, I love it. And we talked about where we wanted to see the matchup go, where we thought the matchup was going to go, but the dominance from top lane for LGD is making it all too easy for the rest of the map.
And now you can see Suiting trying to make a play on the bot side.
They're trying.
It should be an easy dive.
It should be an easy one. Shadow comes down with the equalizer though with a lot of return damage. They're right on top of the flames. Make an Inferno Bomb on top of it. Give them 2 back. You can take 1, but you lose most of your members after that. And that's not a call you ever want to make.
Oh, but what a turnaround from Shadow coming down to the bot side.
The
Kramer
timing.
able to land the ultimate, and I just feel like you're in a situation where you have a Sett, you have a Tahm Kench. These two are so good at diving. You should be able to get a kill and get out, but it was just mismanaged. Angel should have been the one to take the aggro initially. You can use the shield, you can eat him, very easy to drop that once again, but instead we saw Ong take aggro and then SofM. And yes, Tahm Kench typically good at taking aggro, but ideally you want to use that Devour to reset the tower aggro, and obviously wasn't available there, so just a bit of a misexecution from Suiting. They were a little bit desperate and they get called out on it by LGD.
And I just have to praise Shadow again for his timing here. The dude just sprinted bot lane, feeling that there was something that was going to happen. They knew that Suiting needed to respond, and gets there in the nick of time to lay down so much damage to set up Kramer to finish them off. And yes, they do lose the 1, but you got to say worth all day for that one.
Absolutely, especially Senna, so Kramer still able to pick up the wave, but you saw there, because there was no wave, because this was a very desperate and overforced dive, they had to take tower aggro very early, which is why Ong picked it up. And then as a result, we saw a scenario where they'd already stacked up the tower damage so significantly they couldn't really survive it. Now, see the Herald though mid, and we're talking about the priority. Angel roams down towards bot and loses so many places in return, and now with the Herald, they're just losing that mid lane tower.
Yep, that's going to be first tower going over to LGD as well, who have ballooned their lead to almost 4,000 gold before 10 minutes here, and Suning are feeling the pain. They're moving around as a group. They're trying to get SofM back into some farming, back into this game, because Shadow, as we started at the top of the day saying, has controlled every moment of the early part of this game.
Absolutely, he's been on fire, and not just because he's playing Rumble. He's really been facilitating the city game. He knows where to be, and now they're applying more pressure. And the top side, Fearness is 2,000 gold ahead of Bin
really
now.
rough.
At 10 minutes,
so
and the tower, he's not even taking it because there's no reason to. If you take the tower, then Bin has somewhere to farm. They'll just leave it up and keep denying these minions.
Yep.
He's 95 to 47 CS. This is...
He almost has less gold than the support.
Bullying.
This is really rough. This is starting to become some illegal gameplay. Might have to hear the sirens coming in for LGD here, but poor Ben just needing to find a way to hold on while they get leads, or trying to, at least around the rest of the map, right? You're trying to get Angel as this crucial team player, this playmaker for SofM to set up the moonfalls. You're trying to get Huanfeng in a position where this Jhin can hit those item spikes and start getting to a point where you have damage and you can press up, but it's starting to get further and further away from their grasp.
And it's so difficult because lacking mid priority, anytime you go for, if you want to try to go for a play on the bot side, there's a good chance Xiye will just show up with paranoia, especially as there's double TP available to Fearness and Xiye. And on top of that, ideally the scenario one is you build a wave of bot lane, you push the wave in a tower, it makes the dive way easier, and then you're able to punish Kramer and Mark. But because of the Ziggs, the waves are just getting absolutely obliterated almost instantly. It's even got Ionian boots coming out for the Ziggs, so an even shorter cooldown on that bouncing bomb. And Suning just can't even get close to the tower. The wave is permanently being annihilated, so these setups that we're seeing LGD do on the top side just aren't as possible. Now, they are trying to look for some picks to find a window, but Mark pretty aware of that. And this top lane matchup is just...
And it's just led to Shadow being able to take all he wants at the topside jungle, right? Like, SofM has been trying so hard. They have found a flank on Kramer, though, with the Abyssal Voyage. Kramer going to use his jump to get away. Did he just survive, though? As the Deadly Flourish not going to connect. They do have the Moonfall. There's the TPs. Everybody's sounding the war horns, and Mark is still in the middle of the fight. Fearness is here now with a ton of damage. And yeah, you got a showstopper, but you've only been able to find one. Huanfeng is here to back him up, but Angel's getting dangerously low, and the flash forward from Fearness. He smells blood in the water, and the Croc is hungry as they find Angel. They really want Huanfeng here.
Oh, no.
Oh, Shadow with the long-range equalizer. No! Xiye! Oh, he gets taken out! Huanfeng making the plays. He'll die for it, but he gets one back.
Huanfeng gets the consolation prize, but still, it's a crushing victory for LGD. Suning go for the aggressive play, and as we just talked about, double TP with Fearness and Xiye coming in. There's really nothing that Suning can do to win out the extended fight. They managed to take out Kramer, who was pretty overextended, as we typically sometimes see from Kramer. Little regard for his own safety, but LGD are so quick to respond and punish. But we have to talk about the silver linings. Bin finally gets to touch a minion wave, which is a great experience for him. He's kind of been missing out on that the past few minutes.
This is what League of Legends is about.
Did get that return kill.
Yeah, and at least able to scrounge back a little bit of something, right? You're still about double the gold in the lead for Fearness for LGD, which does not feel good at all. But you're hoping, Gwen late game, scaling, right? Scaling, totally.
Yeah. And I think the problem is, like, the later this goes, Suning typically tend to perform well in team fights when they have a good setup. But I don't think this game will necessarily allow for that. But we will get the replay first. Kramer, a little bit overextended, isolated without Mark, who is making some movement. But there's so much committance to find this play.
Yeah.
There's no flash available right now, I believe, for SofM. It ends up diving in. They're unable to get out with these double TP flanks, and Angel tries to make the play in return, does get one, but you end up committing so deep to the fight, and they just don't. Oh, we've seen another play coming in.
Speaking of committing to the fight, Shadow does go, oh my god, Xiye goes back in here, just gonna find his death though because of it. You do get the response because of the flash over the wall from Shadow. Angel running away at this point. My goodness, just look at those plates. You know, you're no wonder that there's a 6,000 gold lead, sub 15 minutes right now for LGD.
Yeah, and this is just flawless early game execution from LGD. We said the team can sometimes be a little bit inconsistent. This is definitely the high of LGD where they are performing so well. And, you know, you try and make a play. That one was actually okay for Suning. A 1-for-1 trade you'll absolutely take. But the problem is you can't find a favorable scenario because there's the paranoia with the long range. There's the Mega Inferno bomb. There's the ult from the Senna, which name I've forgotten. You know, there's so many tools. There's so many tools from LGD to respond whenever you make a proactive play that you're really limited. And as we were seeing before, I mean, look at the top lane. 2-level lead for Fearness. We saw he was about double the gold of Bin. Look at the jungle. Shadow, 2 levels ahead on SofM. The difference is absolutely massive. And the thing is, you look at the bot lane, Ziggs Senna scales extremely well. So it's not like you're even concerned about going late. Yes, Suning tend to perform well in those later team fights, and sometimes LGD can misstep, but I feel like they'd have to face plant them to mess this game up.
I feel like the first time they're ever skateboarding or something, they just run straight into the ground. I do like, part of me is so excited because you're looking at this Suning composition and you're seeing a lot of that wombo combo. If they get the right team fight, if they have the right chain of events, it could all just pan out like dominoes falling, right? But the thing is, you've gotten yourself to such a gold deficit that even if you have the better composition for a team fight, even if you have the wombo combos, the setups, everything like that, they're just walking around with a giant gold bag swinging it at your face. And it doesn't really matter at that point. So I really want to see if Suning can pick apart the composition for LGD and find any way to get back into this and find a little bit of that gold that they are just so lacking of.
And I think it really needs to come from finding almost an instant pick off on these bot lane members. If you can kill Kramer and Mark almost instantaneously, then you have a chance in a fight. But the problem is, typically for a scenario like that to arise, you either need really good vision control, which is very hard for them to do right now, or you need to find someone isolated, which again, you have paranoia, you have all these global tools that makes it very difficult, or, you know, Kramer has to misstep, which is probably the most likely of all these scenarios, is that Kramer overextends. But right now, it does feel like Mark is sort of pairing up with him well and keeping him safe, and he does have his flash available, which limits how much Suning can do.
And it's kind of funny to me, we talked a lot about the synergy between jungle supports getting on the map, getting roaming and things like that. It didn't necessarily pan out to be hardcore into that basket, at least early on. But now that you're just getting roaming death squads of everybody, it's kind of funny to see this pan out this early on as well.
Yeah, I mean, LGD do a really good job of when they have a lead, moving together and cementing that, finding windows. They'll use the Herald to find this turret. They've got Fearness pushing in the bot lane, and the thing is, they don't even need to do that much to find a tower. All that needs to happen is Kramer shows up, maybe autos the tower once, then you throw the satchel down. I really like this wave timing for Fearness, just bringing it in after they take the mid tower. They're able to easily pick this one up, and I mean, watch the Ziggs. Auto comes in, satchel gone.
Bye-bye, there goes your next tower. And they found such an advantage. Like, they were getting turret plates, but now they're just getting straight turrets. And Suning have not been able to find a single one, let alone a lot of damage on one. And that is how much of a stranglehold LGD have had on this early game.
And I think when looking at this, we can sort of bring it back to the draft. Because, oh wait, I'm going to hold that, because it looks like Xiye might be in trouble here.
Oh, this is maybe not the ADCs, the bot laners you were looking for, but you found the Nocturne. And oh no, he's going to get away. No, Huanfeng gets the shot. There you go. The sniper's back in town.
Oh, and I'm glad to see Huanfeng got that, because that would have been an absolute tragedy if they didn't get that kill. You saw the ultimate from Mark come in to try and save the day, but ultimately, that was a great choice. You target the Nocturne, the one who could fly in with the paranoia, and he ends up being an easier target to take down. There isn't as much support that can come for him when he is the one with that really powerful semi-global ultimate now. LGD looking to steal away this blue buff and secure it for Kramer. And kind of jump back to my previous point about how this kind of all started from the draft. Like, credit to LGD, they've absolutely played well, but one of the concerns is bot lane isolated would just end up in Kramer Mark auto winning the lane. the fact they had so much wave clear meant that Suning couldn't really make plays around bot. And then on top of that, a big thing we highlighted was the importance of mid priority. Xiye in this matchup, fulfilling the role for his team, as we talked about, was just push the wave and be ready to move. And he did that so well, and it was always him who was able to sort of apply that pressure on the map as a result. And when Angel did try and move to make a play happen, he essentially lost his entire turret. And I think that kind of came into the advantages LGD gave themselves in draft, and it was a bit of a draft iffy for this one, but still, credit to how Shadow has played out the jungle matchup in this game, because he's been absolutely stellar.
Yeah, it's just been on the ball the entire time, and now as well taking their second dragon of the game just to get that timer going down closer to their side of it. Will be the first of the Infernal Soul Dragons to go over to LGD, and with that objective control, they're going to continue pressing up in these lanes and continue to just farm up, right? I do feel like they need to find a way in. They need to find some aggressive plays forward, but then again as well, like if you continue to stack up the objectives, you continue to catch people out in the sides where maybe that dysfunction is shining through right now, at least for Suning, that's where LGD could continue to just press pedal to the metal.
Yeah, I mean, all they need is at the moment a window where someone steps up and they finally engage. And the thing is, they have such easy time of just having the Nocturne fly in and then everyone throwing their ults on top. It's very easy to pick out a single target, but
pretty much
now
like
they're
how can
happy just to
Shadow
maintain
get in?
vision control. Yeah, absolutely. And they're just kind of looking now for vision control of the area and forcing Suning away. And that's when they can start to move towards the Baron. Suning have to face check, and then they can maybe find it. This could be the plan.
Suning found it. Yeah, they got the Moonfall there combo as well. But the curtain call is going to get canceled there on the back because Xiye has found them, and they've gotten 2-pack. LGD have just swiped the fight from under Suning's nose.
The play was correct, but the goal difference is there. SofM, not enough damage to take out Kramer quickly enough. The ult comes back and they end up turning around the backline dive. Yes, Kramer dies, but they do manage to secure 2 in return, and Suning aren't able to really find an advantage here. The goal difference is just so massive that even when you make the correct play, you still end up failing. And it's just a really rough position to be in, but I like that Suning went for that proactive play. They looked for the backline, and at bare minimum, they have burnt the flashes of both Kramer and Mark.
And I feel bad for Huanfeng. He had the ulti all set up. He's like, oh my God, everybody's just lining up in front of me. And then Xiye is just like, nah, he's not going to get that one off. Gets the fear and everything onto him. So honestly, I have to say that fight looks a little bit different to me if Xiye is not able to get on the backline like that. And that's such a crucial part to LGD's success and how they've kind of snowballed this game already.
Yeah, I mean, it's a constant threat. Just the Nocturne alone, at this point, you're tanky enough, you're strong enough to dive onto Huanfeng, and, you know, they have to play defensive and respect you. They can't really do anything in return. Huanfeng just doesn't have the damage to cut through you quickly, and you're able to buy a lot of time for the rest of your team to deal with these backline threats. Now, LGD once again trying to establish control of the Baron area, and I expect to see them slowly push up once again to establish that vision. We do see mid wave being pushed by Xiye. We see Fearness going to push in that top wave, and then that allows them a window to move in. LGD need to be a little respectful before their solo lanes can join them, though. It appears that Xiye is just going to fix that bot wave and set it to push. So now is the time to back off, play your own jungle, play a bit respectful before you once again push up that vision line.
Yeah, a little lull in the action here. Also, reclamation for Suning on the top side of their map, on their top side jungle here. They're finally able to get some bodies in there, get some warding down, get some vision around the Baron pit as well for themselves, just to set up just in case. But I'm looking at resets now. I'm looking at Suning needing to get ready for this soul point. Yes, you can give soul point and you force yourself to fight every single dragon after that, but just giving LGD that control when they've already had so much control in this game is the edge of the cliff just waiting to happen.
Plus, I think, I will be honest, of all the champions in the game, I think Ziggs, and this is a hard one to take, but I think Ziggs is possibly one of the best with Infernal Souls. Just the long range extra damage on his poke, it's insane. And the ult gets to the point where it'll literally just 100-0 you. And the thing is, imagine you're Huanfeng and you're like, okay, this is as you said before in the last fight, this is a great time to ultimate, although no, I think they're backing off, sorry. Anyway, you think you found a great chance to ultimate with the Jhin, with the curtain call. You pop it down, And then all Kramer has to do is press R, you know,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Xiye, if either of the, or even Shadow.
Any
all
of
three
them,
of them
honestly.
can just press R, and you have to cancel. Speaking
Oh,
of cancels,
no.
it looks like Pin might be here.
Bin's hiding in the bush pretty well. Okay, finally the paranoia is going to be triggered. They're going to find a lot of damage here, and Bin will go down. Caught out in the side lane. Not ever what you want to be writing home. LGD go up yet
And
again.
the thing is, Suning don't have enough damage to really threaten the Baron. They don't have enough presence, and against the Ziggs, so dangerous to end up in that pit. So LGD really free to move down towards that bot side and find that pick onto Bin. Honestly, Bin a little bit overextended in that situation, but not really much you can do anyway. And I think this is just going to be an easy dragon pickup for LGD to secure the third. And I think you can see from this game, they don't feel pressured. This isn't a mad rush to get the game finished. They're just taking their time because they don't need to rush this game to close. Now, Suning are looking as if they want to contest. I think that kind of caught LGD off guard. They expected a freebie, but with the mid priority, you can see LGD's bot lane move to provide cover, and this dragon's gone.
And the response that's available, right? Like, you always have to second guess yourself. Is your timer on paranoia right? Is he 5 seconds before it's ready? Is it now? Is it what's it gonna be? And with the Mega Inferno bomb, everything like that, like the AoE clearing is just crazy to me. And when you see those kinds of engages, you see Suning wanting to step forward, wanting to try to fight over something on the map. They realize that they really aren't in a position to, and that gets me a little bit scared for these next few moments, because you've got a Baron up on the board. It's really the only objective available right now, and LGD are already moving a lot of members up there. They're getting priority in the lanes, and they're potentially looking to force Suning's hand.
Yeah, and the thing is, who's going to face check? Because I feel like anyone who walks up will just get absolutely annihilated.
Because you can just
at a point now where, you can just bait them in. Just get someone to face check, someone to move forward. Because if they lose Baron, the game is over.
Yeah.
If they come and fight for Baron and they die, the game is also over. The game's looking pretty bad altogether for Suning, I'll be honest.
Looking at almost a 10,000 gold deficit here against their enemies, LGD, as they look to take this second tier tower. Just waiting for Kramer to be able to satchel charge that wonderful building, and it will go down. LGD secure yet another objective. Will be their 6th tower of the game. Not yet at that 10,000 gold lead, but they're still pressing up. They're looking for it here, as they have all their members committing to this topside jungle.
Yeah, trying to get some vision in this tribe, which is a little bit dangerous, which is why they're being so hesitant. They don't want to get caught and engaged on that choke point, so they'll just back off, play respectful, go for a reset once again. I believe we should see Shadow picking up the Void Staff here, and Kramer pretty close on the Rabadons, but it's just been very restrained. Good play from LGD, and I was critical of them. I said they've had some inconsistency. There's been games where, the late game team fights, they haven't had the best setup. They've committed to fights in bad places, but here they've been very restrained, very by the book, and as a result, we're seeing a scenario where Suning just aren't getting the windows. This is slow and methodical, and I have to praise LGD for playing the game out this way.
And can I just throw some praise on my boy Kramer over here? Like, we were both talking about it before, how there's some high highs and some very low lows, but the dude is pulling out the versatility. He's pulling out the Ziggs here. He's also had incredible performances on the Ezreals. He's been performing so well, and we're speaking about it, they might have to pull something out here for Suning, because they've gotten caught out yet again. It's Angel this time, Aux, and that's just not going to look good when you're going against the 5 members stacked up of LGD.
I mean, that's the problem. He tries to go for a play onto Shadow there, hoping he'll be able to catch him out, but Shadow still had Flash, still had Zhonya's, and more importantly, still had teammates who were able to fly in. And now LGD, they have that member advantage. They're looking for SofM.
He might be in some trouble. Oh my god, he gets almost all of his health bar gone, and there's the Mega Inferno bomb. The shield is going to be beautiful. Huanfeng opens up with the curtain call, just trying to find some damage. We'll find Mark at least one shot. That's ulti's down, and Suning have to back away from the Baron pit. Meanwhile, LGD are moving into the Baron pit, again looking to force the hand of Suning. There's the equalizer right into the alcove here, but Suning get out with a wonderful move by On. And Bin hovering on the side here. LGD back away.
Honestly, good play from Suning. All things considered, that could have gone disastrously, but they managed to mitigate the pressure, move back and forth, and LGD can't find the engage. Without the Nocturne flying in, or without someone pushing forwards, it's kind of difficult for LGD to actually force a fight and make Suning commit to it. So good disengage coming out, and Suning lived to fight another day. Unfortunately, that other day is about in a minute 7 when that last Infernal Dragon spawns, I would assume, because if LGD secure it, that's the soul, and things become a lot more threatening at that point.
And you're looking at all the green lights for LGD. They're all shining. The only one you're missing right now is Fearness, but it's going to be coming up here soon. They just want to go for the fight immediately. Xiye is there, but he's going to have to back off. Dawning Shadow, Mega Inferno Bomb on top of each other, and Huanfeng's already almost dead. Now, there's no way they're going to be able to get themselves ready for this fight unless they just sprint onto the map to fight over this Dragon Soul.
Yeah, I mean, they'll get time to reset, but the problem is vision control is so important here. Moving through the jungle is so difficult. And on top of that, Kramer on the Ziggs able to throw down those Hextech minefields, blocking off choke points and making it hard to move through. Now, they're just going to rush the back.
They're just going for the big brain play. I love this. Suning just forcing LGD to adapt or survive here. Baron at about half health, already getting very, very low. LGD are coming into the pit, but Shadow's still far behind. 1,000 health, it's gonna go down. SofM has secured it. They're now trying to get out of dodge. They will do so, and just like that, they have snuck away the Baron and changed the tempo, at least for a glimpse, for a moment, for Suning's favor.
It buys them time, because although LGD are going to get the Infernal Soul, I don't think there's much that Suning could have done to stop that. The extra damage is definitely going to hurt, literally, but it means that they can't push as easy with that Baron buff, and Suning get the opportunity to wait for another opportunity where potentially they have better chances. I think the critical thing about that decision is it was so snapped from Suning, and the reason it worked is because LGD had just used a lot of their ultimates. The Paranoia was down. The Mega Inferno Bomb was down. I've forgotten the name again. The Senna.
Dawning Shadow?
Dawning Shadow. Thank you very much.
No problem.
The Dawning Shadow was down and unavailable. So all of these ultimates that are great at threatening teams on Baron, as they're able to do so much damage, you know, having the Nocturne fly in with a Mega Inferno Bomb would have certainly made Suning have a bad day. But because they were down, Suning found that window, secure the Baron in a desperate situation, and may have found a way to at least buy time, but it's still very LGD favored with an 8k gold lead and now that Infernal Soul. And I mean, look at the items. Triple stopwatch, which is going to give a lot of power to LGD in these fights, but also Rabadons, Seraphs, and Ludens for Kramer. At this point, his ultimate is doing so much damage.
So much, and you're also getting that 100 stack mark for Mark, and you're gonna be able to get a lot of Senna damage coming through, especially once those items start coming through. So like, LGD are not done scaling yet. They're still scaling. They're still in the power arc here, but Suning have found a way to stave them off for just a little while. My only question now is, with the amount of poke, with the amount of damage that can come through for LGD, how do you even step into your jungle? How do you approach these fights whatsoever, unless you're just purely finding catch-outs?
I think it has to be purely catch-outs. I think you need someone to mess up on LGD, someone to overstep. If you do find a good flank, then maybe there's an opportunity. We've seen even that didn't necessarily work for Suning because of the gold deficit. And realistically, if you're engaging on someone, it has to be Kramer and Mark, but Kramer now has a stopwatch. You know, it makes things tricky. Someone is all available for LGD apart from that flash with Fearness. And I think this decision from Angel to go on the side lane, pretty smart. We actually saw this earlier in the split when he was playing the TF up against the side of IG. Very good at playing the side lane, and with that Baron able to apply some pressure. And at bare minimum, this is bought time as LGD are pulling back, but they are actually looking for him now. Okay, so they know he's there at least. I thought they were going to commit. They were getting pings down onto him as well. The Paranoia, is it going to be enough? He gets out. Oh. Smart move coming out there from Angel. He knew Shadow didn't have any instant CC, and even though Xiye came in with a Paranoia, the fear takes time to activate. So it was pretty much a DPS race, and fortunately Angel is pretty tanky, able to survive that one. Definitely a clutch moment, but it does mean you are lacking an extra tool for Angel to get behind LGD and find a flank. But all things considered, you picked up a tower top, you picked up this tower from Bin pushing. Suning doing a pretty good job at managing the map here to find a bit of a window back in, and suddenly this game's starting to extend. When considering LGD had such a massive gold lead early, you know, we praise them being slow and measured, but there is definitely a fault with being too slow and giving the enemy team a window.
And we talked about it as well, where Suning are that late game team. They're so good in their map rotations, in their decision makings, in their target calling and execution in the team fights. So that's where you're starting to get into the zone of Suning, and they're starting to shine through here in little bits and pieces. You've still got Ben struggling there on the Gwen, but you can find other advantages. You can use the toolkit that Gwen brings to the table to really help you out. And they've just been trying to farm up, right? They've been trying to close this lead. They have closed the gold deficit by just a little amount, and I like it. But now Ben is getting bullied yet again. He's going to buy some time here by going golden with the Zanyas. And Curtain Call is going to come open. A lot of damage. Taunting Shadow, Mega Inferno Bomb. Oh my God!
Yep.
Huanfeng, I'm sorry, but you can't play the game anymore. You can't hit the R button. You're just baiting yourself to death.
It was so good. I saw Mark fire the Dawning Shadow across, and I see the Mega Inferno Bomb circle. I'm like, you can't stand in that. And I mean, we got to see it. We do now see Suning looks to respond here, kind of push up mid, but still going to be concerned about LGD. I feel like that fight initially was favored just because LGD didn't have the numbers. The equalizer was used a little bit early, but now LGD are back. And I think this is a pivotal point in the game. We have 1 minute till Baron, 1 minute 25 till Elder Dragon. LGD want to ideally secure both these objectives. Both of them would be game winning.
Yeah.
But if they trade 1-for-1, Suning may be able to survive for a bit longer. But if they lose the fight, the game is basically done. LGD take towers so fast with this Ziggs, so
exactly, and they want to find the engage here to finish it all. Xiye does find Angel, the pivotal matchup that we were talking about all day long. Angel's buying so much time though with his tankiness. Ultis are down here for LGD. They've used a lot of their tools. They know that, so they'll back off. The point I was going to make is how quick their ultimates come up, right? They just used everything. Most of them are already about halfway done to coming back up. And I think that that's so impressive for LGD to utilize this and to know that they can just pull the triggers whenever they want, just like right there with Xiye, and they'll be able to do it again right around the corner.
And the thing is, Suning don't have some crazy engage. Unless Angel finds a flank or they get really close to his backline, it's very hard for Suning to start a fight. So they can just keep throwing these ults in, and it's like fishing. You throw bait down, you know, if you lose it, you're not too concerned. You've got a big whole tackle box full of it, and here, LGD are just happy to keep throwing lines out until they find something. It is now getting to the point where Baron and Elder are up. Suning trying to find a window to contest, but it's so scary right now.
It is, and LGD already moving down towards this Elder Dragon pit. They've got the catch out potentially waiting for Suning as they're playing in the bushes. They get the paranoia here, and there's some trouble developing as Angel gets his Sterix gauge popped and also has his flash gone. So Suning are without a member. He will have TP to get back to the fight, but LGD start up the Elder Dragon, and Xiye wanted actually stopped the back as well. It's going to be a little bit longer until Angel can rejoin the fight. The Baron, or the Elder, does have a lot of health. It also resets here. We're seeing a lot of damage potential coming out from LGD if they want to turn the fight, but Xiye is the one that gets caught first. There's the TP now coming in for Angel, but have they already found the carry? Have they already found the members they need? Huanfeng barely alive. Xiye wants it. He's going under tower, but he goes golden, and he buys time, but Huanfeng dies. The rest of the fight is going LGD's favor. Big Moonfall comes out, but SofM falls short, and LGD have found the fight. They found the win, and that's game number 1 going over.
Suning desperate to find the fight that they need to get back in this game, but they can't find a way in. And you see the dive potential from LGD, the follow-up, the ult. Huanfeng gets exploded, On gets exploded, and then it's easy cleanup by there. It wasn't a super fast game, but LGD felt in control for a good portion. There was a little blip, but they closed this one out in style.
They finally almost hit that 10K gold lead there at the end as well. They got back up to that moment and lived up to the moment. LGD are rising to the occasion, and I absolutely love it. This was an immaculate performance, except for that later part of the game where things were getting a little dicey, but everything else was calm, cool, collected, and calculated. And I have to give a special shout out to Shadow. He kept the tempo up early on, and he continued to press it in SofM's face. It would have been a different game without that.
And we came into this series, and I mean, I especially thought this would be a close one. But LGD really have an opportunity just to like step up. That is the thing, is that they can rise to any occasion, but they can also be a bit underwhelming. Here they rose to it, and I think particularly the draft I was really impressed by.
Yeah.
I think Suning fumbled their second rotation when they picked that Tahm Kench initially, because it allowed the counter to come in with the Ziggs Senna, and it just completely negated any bot lane pressure. I feel like the deck was stacked for minute one, but by all means did LGD capitalize on that favor they found from the draft.
And, you know, one of these teams gets to take that step forward in the standings here over the other if you win this best of 3 series, right? And both teams wanted to come out swinging. You could see Suning opted into early game composition, something that we would think they would be looking for scaling. They were looking to wait, but they wanted to try to find something early on for themselves, and especially for SofM. That didn't go their way. They tried to get into the late game where we know they succeed so heavily, but it just did not work out. And now LGD have the first strike in this series, and they're looking so dominant. It's got to be a question of how Suning respond.
Yeah, I think adapting the draft is an important step one for me. I think mid priority has been shown to be vitally important. I think jungle matchup was honestly okay. It wasn't too much of a problem, but Shadow did definitely run away with it. So perhaps the priority on the Rumble for SofM would be better than the Diana. But by all means, mid priority, important. And then not sacrificing your bot lane matchup, because you saw that Renekton early priority made top lane really easy to play around. But the counterpoint was on the bot side. You know, Jhin Tahm into Ziggs Senna isn't really easy to set up plays with, and it just completely stonewalled Suning's early attempts to cross map. And then we saw glimmers of what we hoped for from Suning when it came to that Baron rush, when it came to the smart play from Angel in the side lane, just applying a bit of pressure. You can see what this team could do if they were able to have a bit more of a goal lead. But when you have such a discrepancy, I mean, you can see the graph there. With that much of a goal discrepancy, you really just can't work it. It's too big of a gap to overcome.
And I messed up, Aux. They didn't get to 10,000. They were 55 gold away. So that's my bad. It's my bad. I messed up. I'm sorry.
They got something to beat now.
I know, right? Like going into game 2, I want to see what LGD can do. But I'm just very, very honestly proud of the LGD squad, right? Like there was a lot of iffiness. We were actually a little bit down on them comparatively to Suning when we were talking about this. We were saying there's a lot of potential downside. There's a lot of things that could go wrong, but when you have performances like this, it just washes all that away, at least for the moment, right? A little bit of recency bias, but you can take that and propel that into a 2-0 game or best of 3 finish here over Suning, and that's what I want to see from LGD. We'll see what Suning can do to respond, see what they can fire back with here.